life I wanted one of these.
So a big day yesterday. My inner child was very excited. I got one of these. For anyone that doesn't know what this is, I think everyone from the UK will know, but if you don't know what this is, it's a Blue Peter badge. And Blue Peter is like the oldest and longest and biggest kids TV show. And they used to give, I just dropped on the floor. They used to give badges to people that went on the show. And they were normally someone that had done something amazing, or scientists, and then they also did athletes and lots of different people. But really rare to get one of these. You can get into theme parks for free in the UK, loads of different stuff. So I was so excited to get my hands on one of these. I've always wanted one of these when I was a kid, and I never thought I'd have the opportunity, so that was pretty cool. We took the Blue Peter presenter out in the Extreme car, and he had a laugh as well, so it was really good fun. A nice day before the action starts here. And yes, I will be wearing it all week at the track if you spot me. We're off on the Legacy programme today, which will be fun. I've actually peaked with the accommodation. I'm in a ski chalet in Dorset, who knew? We've actually got our own sauna as well. I'll show you, look. Always got the essentials with me. I'm a sauna. Still hot. Oh, it's going to be so nice. After a day in the freezing cold outside, I'll just be in here with all my clothes on trying to warm up. We're off on the Legacy programme today, so we're going to a National Trust site, and we're going to a beaver reintroduction area where I think we're actually building the dams and stuff, so building a habitat for them and then working with the local charities.
Timmy's a very aggressive digger.
This is the entrance channel. So you just want to come up just a little bit further. Not too much.
Try not to splash, guys. What are you building, Lance?
We're digging a trench for the beaver to access his home.
Oh. You two supervisor.
I'm the supervisor. Perfect shoes.
I'm like, they're too hard.
They completely modify the course, all of our water courses, all of our streams. They create pools and wetlands, they slow the flow, they create a much more rich and complicated habitat. And we know from everywhere else they've come back in the UK, that drives an absolute explosion in biodiversity. You know, it goes up by an order of magnitude. The numbers of species, the biomass of species, and the resilience of those species. If we can bring get beavers back in our wetlands, they'll do that here as well. So if you go back in a prehistory, you've had all sorts of animals that are now extinct, you might have heard of, like mammoths and mastodons and oryx and tarpons. They were the things that shaped the landscape. They were the things that ate vegetation from one area and left it in other areas. So you had kind of grasslands in one area and woodlands in other areas. They're the things that, through their behaviour, disturbed the ground, created the bare sand that sand lizards and purdic mason moths use to their habitat. If they've gone, we need to find something to replace them. And that's where we're at the stage now. We've got a landscape that's big enough that we can start restoring some of those natural processes that really drive nature recovery. So we can't bring back mammoths and oryx and mastodons because they're all extinct. But what we can do is look at our modern day equivalent herbivores and start managing them in a way that they mimic their natural ancestors.
Tell me if I need to go higher.
You need to go lower and then go like Bertha, but there are people in the background at the moment. So if you do it lower and to your right.
I can't believe you've asked us to do this, Timmy.
And lower again, and then you're gonna have to bust out.
Onto the track. Got the essentials today. Got reindeer cakes, mince pies. Got an actual Rudolph. Some mistletoe and some flashing lights. So we're gonna have a little Santa's grotto, and then we've also got Rachel some leaving gifts because it's her last race with us. I'm interested to see her go, so we've made a big photo that we're all going to sign. Although I have no idea how we're going to do it because she's always around, so it might not be that much of a surprise. Ready? On the track board.
It took me 2 hours to get here, which I think is an absolute record for travelling to a race this year.
That's in Argentina.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's some really fast sections that remind me of rally stages, quite narrow between trees, long, fast corners, which are really fun to drive.
So we have free practice today here. I was first car out on track, so I was kind of the guinea pig for this massive jump that we've all been watching called the knife edge. We were told that the guys here that were testing thought they could go over at 75 kilometres an hour. I tried to take the cautious approach and went in the 60s when I approached it. You know, I didn't want to have a massive jump as the first car to kind of see how it was going to be, and it just was absolutely huge. So yeah, we had a bit of damage when I landed on the front. I could continue, but then yeah, we had some sensor issues and some faults on the system. So unfortunately, Timmy couldn't get his lap. So yeah, I felt really bad about that. And obviously, he's going to have to go out now and have a massive job to do in qualifying, because he's going to have to see the track for the first time against the clock. So big day tomorrow. Having a tidy up in here. This is our dressing room. Timmy's gone to the FIA gala tonight in Paris. And here I am doing his laundry. No, I'm only joking, I'm not touching his side. You can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, partly infrared, but there's a lot of other diodes in there that are doing different other things. Wiping.
So it's quali day today. I'm here in the team tents. This is where we stand and watch the race film when we're not racing. So we get all of the live footage, telemetry, split times up on the screen so we can see how we're doing. So today, it's actually, we're changing the format. So the first driver will do 2 laps, and then the second driver will only do 1. So all of the men have to go first, which means Tim is doing 2 laps, and then I'm doing 1.
If somebody jumps, you know, square off and then went inside the thing. I looked at it, on the tripod. I don't think it was a good jump. That was a perfect jump.
Really nice.
It's race day. You're 100% going to be flat out without lifting. So here is risky anyway. You're like rally track.
Yeah, that's it.
Is an initiative by the FIA Women in Motorsport. I used to be part of the different campaign which came just before it, and it's basically there to encourage girls into motorsport and actually show them that girls can be involved with motorsport. It sounds obvious, but to a lot of people I speak to, they really didn't realise that a F1 female driver could exist, just because they don't see that representation on the road.
It's Adam. That's on the Sweden.
Well, the crazy race here in the UK took place for the first time before the semi-finals. This was the start. Ollie Bennett for Excite Energy Racing closing the door on Kyle Leduc for Chip Ganassi Racing. The Hummer EV just squeezed out into P3.
So, Munnings taking the lead for Andretti United with Sarah Price for Chip Ganassi trying to hunt her down. But these two had a fantastic battle.
It was absolutely brilliant. This was coming right up to the end of the track. Watch here, Sarah Price for the first time all weekend commits to that alternative shoot up the hill. She then comes out, chucks the car across to the left-hand side, and she is right behind Catie Munnings. But Catie Munnings and Timmy Hansen for Andretti United booking the only slot from the crazy race into the last final of the year.
Well done, Catie. Yes. Well done. Well done.
Hey, you're in the final. Well done.
Honestly, in the race, you can take it. If you need to pass someone in the race, do it. Alright. Yeah, it's a good spot to pass.
To win the crazy race and then to end up in the final. Okay, we didn't have an easy grid spot on the final. Like a swimming pool of mud. You can see we just go sinking at the start.
Start RXR 2X44 are going to get there first. JBXC moves across to try and shut the door on Andretti United.
Go on, Catie!
Oh, sliding for JBXC. They've got all over the place, losing out on the traction on the grid. Have they lost a spot? Can they push themselves back in? Contact behind.